Ladies and gentlemen, this should be the biggest news in this channel so far, and even this is probably the biggest news in the typewriter collector community, because a lost Chinese character typewriter reappeared today. So in this video, let's talk about this MingKwai Typewriter. So who created this typewriter? And this man was Lin Yutang, who was a linguist and author, but the most famous identity was inventor, because he invented this great and awesome electric typewriter. On 17 April 1946, Lin took his design and filed his design for a patent application in the United States, and was granted it on 14 October 1942. Finally, Lin called his typewriter design MingKwai, which means clear and quick. So it might mean that Lin hopes his typewriter can type Chinese characters clearly and quickly. In the typewriter era, the 19th century and the 20th century, before the computer got popular, not only the Chinese character typewriters, but also the Japanese kanji typewriters, they always had a very serious problem, which was far slower and harder to type the characters than to type the Latin characters. Also, most typewriters always had a very huge character plate, or a big ruler, where so many characters that were usually so tiny were put here. The typist must find the chosen character out, and then pick it up, and at the end step, hit the button. After such steps, the typist was just able to type one character on the paper. Besides these problems, the Chinese typewriters also usually were bigger than the Latin alphabet typewriters. Therefore, the most obviously great point of the MingKwai typewriter was the smaller body, but I think the most great and revolutionary point was the way of typing it. Very surprisingly, it has been very similar to the modern input method on computers nowadays. Especially it was more similar to the radical-based input method, such as the Changjian input method and Bubi input method. Every key of the typewriter corresponded to a radical or a certain part of the character. So the radicals could be combined together, and the typist would get about 90,000 characters, but by only hitting several keys on the typewriter. And even there was a magic eye in the center of the keyboard. When the typist typed, he could reveal the selective character by watching this magic eye. But unfortunately, because of some things in business or some factors, this very smart invention did not make it into production. And at the same time, Lin Yutang had fallen into debt after developing this typewriter. So in the end, Lin only made one MingKwai typewriter as a prototype. With the time going, the world moved to computer time, and the typewriter gradually were replaced by computers. Typing Chinese characters gradually wasn't a difficult thing by using the input methods on computers or cell phones. So in such a background, the MingKwai typewriter became a forgotten thing, and that prototype was also lost in history. However, until 24th January 2025, in a Facebook group whose name is What My Typewriter Was, another friend suddenly set a post because he found a very rare typewriter that's all in Chinese while cleaning out his wife's grandfather's basement. After studying, he knew this was the MingKwai typewriter. Quickly, his post got hundreds of likes. Compared with other posts that only have several or about a dozen likes, this post went viral in the community instantly, and it should have more value and be very powerful for everyone. I hear that now there have been some people and a Chinese team who wanted to replicate this typewriter, wanting to buy it, and they have contacted the publisher of this post. Currently, the Discover has decided to rent a climate-controlled warehouse to preserve the MingKwai Typewriter, and is preparing to sell it to the right person. The famous American sinologist Thomas Mullany even expressed the appreciation for this. So, this is today's video, and thank you for watching. Hope one day we can see this precious typewriter or its replica that can work again. And let's see how to type the character with it. Hope you can like this video. Have a good day. See you next time.